Hello, BookTube. This week I'm continuing my reprise of the alphabet tags created by Jim of Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. In this episode, the O tag. O is for 124. 124. The address in Beloved. Is there an address in your reading that stands out? Of course, there's always 22 1B Baker Street, the address of Sherlock Holmes. That is that in 1600 Graymalkin Lane, which is the address of the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. Those are the only two addresses that I fully remember or that stand out. O is for Once Upon a Time. What is your favorite fairy tale? I don't really read fairy tales, and I haven't for a very long time. But I think it would probably be Sleeping Beauty, although that has more to do with the Disney movie than actually reading any fairy tales. O is for Observer's Books. Do you have any? No. O is for Olga Tokarczuk and Orhan Pamuk. Have you read either of these Nobel Prize winning authors? I have yet to read anything by Olga Tokarczuk, but I have read I've read one book and have tried another book by Orhan Pamuk. So shortly after Pamuk won the Nobel Prize in Literature, I bought his book, his novel, The Black Book, and bailed on it. A few years ago, I had one of these yearnings to add specific kinds of books to my library. And one of those books was at that time, about 2 years ago, I had a strong urge to revisit some of the Nobel Prize, the prize laureate, the literature laureates that have had previous encounters with. So it'd been Nadine Gordimer, Gao Xingjiang, Günter Grass, and Orhan Pamuk. So I bought a new copy, although it was a used copy, but another copy of The Black Book, as well as My Name is Red. I read, when technically Bill redeemed, The Black Book last year for I don't remember what the official name of the the second chance to bail or DNF. I called it bail redemption December because I pretty much already had that thing going. And so I successfully bail redeemed The Black Book. And I kind of liked it, surprisingly, although it does fall apart at the end. And then earlier this year, I tried My Name is Red and bailed on that. But I might give it another shot during this bail redemption December, depending on what my mood is. Now, going back to Olga Tokarczuk, again, haven't tried anything by her. I've been thinking about picking up something by her for a while. That urge has never been overwhelming enough to do so, which is a theme for some of these questions that some authors or groups of authors I've been thinking about picking up and just haven't done so because the urge hasn't been great enough. Now, I might possibly, because I do have a $50 Amazon gift card that I got for my birthday. I mean, right now it looks like I'm going to pick up a few more volumes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean and some volumes of One Piece. But maybe I could pick up something by Tokarczuk and a few others that I've been meaning to get to. And then there's always Christmas. So I don't know. But as of right now, No on Tokarczuk. O is for The Old Curiosity Shop. What is your least favorite Dickens novel? I'm going to say A Tale of Two Cities. O is for oldest. What is the oldest book in your collection? So there's a number of ways to go about this prompt. The first is chronologically which book was written the longest time ago. And that would be The Iliad and Odyssey by Homer. If we're talking about that I've had in my collection for the longest, that would be Legends of the World, edited by Richard Cavendish, which I've had since I was 12 or 13. If we're talking about the one that's been like the oldest edition of said book, it would be a bind up of 4 novels by H. Rider Haggard that was published in the 1920s. O is for Oxford. What was the last book you read set at a prestigious university? I don't remember, honestly. I know if we're sticking strictly to Oxford, it probably would be one of the. Okay, the author's name is Colin Dexter, and I want to say the detective is Inspector Morse. Am I right? I read at least 1 or 2 of his novels during my mystery period about 20 odd years ago. I'm actually going on 30 odd years ago now. Ooh, I feel so old. Outside of that prestigious university, is there a manga I've read? I mean, because most of the manga I read are usually about younger protagonists of pre-college age. Um, hmm. Well, I am absolutely blanking on this one. Um, Sorry about that. O is for Ovid. Have you read Ovid's Metamorphoses? Yes, I read it for a class about 20 years ago. I'm not enamored of it, I have to say. O is for original. Have you created any original tags? Yes, I've created several. Um, and then there are some extra prompts, um, which when I do, I add the prompts to the end of, again, the show notes. I will basically add these extras to the other prompts. So O is for opening lines. Do you have any favorite opening lines? Not that I can recall. O is for Obama. Have you read Becoming or A Promised Land? No. O is for offensive. Does profanity bother you when you read it? No. O is for Oprah. Have you read or started a book because of a celebrity endorsement? No. And in fact, I despise celebrity endorsements because they always have those hideous stickers that mar the cover of books. O is for Oregon, Ohio, and Oklahoma. Have you read any books set in any of these states? I have, or at least attempted to. So for Oregon, I don't recall any novels that I have read set in Oregon. But there are 2 poetry collections, All American Poem by Matthew Dickman and The End of the West by his twin brother, Michael Dickman, that are in part set in Portland, Oregon, because They were born and grew up in Portland, Oregon. For Ohio, the first part of A Home at the End of the World by Michael Cunningham is set in Ohio. In Oklahoma, the first chapter or so of White Trash Warlock is, I believe, set in Oklahoma. And the less said about that book, the better off we are. And trash is rather appropriate. O is for Ontario. Have you read a book set in this province? The Rubber Bride by Margaret Atwood, as well as Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood, although I have repeatedly bailed on that book. And several others of her books are also set in Ontario. I think that's it. I really need to make an effort to read more Canadian literature. O is for own. Feel free to add your own prompts. I might actually, I've been thinking about doing my own version of the alphabet tag in the new year. So, Jim, if you see this, yeah, I think I might do my own version of the alphabet tag. So, might make my own prompts then. And finally, O is for Orwell. What have you read by George Orwell? I have read Animal Farm when I was 12, and I think I read it. I don't remember if I liked it or not. I read 1984 when I was 21-ish, 20 or 21, and I didn't like it at all. And I read his Politics in the English Language, which I think was okay, but I don't really recall much of what I made of it. So that was the O tag. If you'd like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged, and I will see you with more tags shortly. So until then, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.